And according to the Bible, we're going to put it in here. Now look. Look. Nisan 1 don't start on Sunday all the time. Just for illustration purposes, I'm beginning here. Because remember, the first day of Nisan, or Abib, started when you were coming up to the end of Adar, which is their last month of the Jewish calendar. Two people would go out and look. If they didn't see the moon, and that's what confused me at first, but it doesn't confuse me now. Because you say, well, if you add another 30 days, you're pushing it. No, you drop back and go through the same month again. Because if you added another month, you would be pushing it forward. You go back and start at Adar 1 again and come back. So you live the same month. You don't live the same month. You just put 30 days in, but it's 30 days twice in the last month.
Well, they didn't depend on the calendar like we do.
No, they don't. No. They depended on the moon, stars, and all that. Remember. They didn't, you know, they may have had a calendar, but it didn't look like this for sure.
Well, I was wondering how they.
Right, well I did too, because you would think in Adar, if they didn't see the moon, if they saw a sliver, they started the next month. If it was the dark side of the moon, they just dropped back and started this all over again. Adar 1 is not Adar 13, because it would push it this way.
Right.
No, they drop back and do Adar again. Because see, if you did add another one, you start pushing your feast days out of the spring. All right? So they just drop back, and see, that keeps it in line. All right, everybody got that? Say amen. Amen. That, to me, that's very simple. So now, here we got more months on the backside, but the ones that are really important, I wrote the dates down. Now let's read in Leviticus 23. Now look, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to the children of Israel, saying to them concerning the feast of the Lord. These are not Israel's feast. These are the Lord's feast that He commanded Israel to, it required them to keep. So they're not feast of Israel, they're feast of the Lord. That's what the Bible says. Feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are who? My feast. All right. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest. Now see, there's only one day. It's the Sabbath. There's only one day that they're required to keep, and that's Saturday. Their Sabbath is Saturday. Everybody got that? Every 7 days, their Sabbath is on Saturday. That's why Jesus had to come off the cross, because really, right here's where He was crucified. They couldn't take Him off that cross the next day, because you can't do anything on this Sabbath. This is the only day they were required, or Sabbath is the Jewish name for it. Okay? 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. And convocation means to call together. Alright? Okay, if I get too fast, we'll finish it. We'll go a little bit later, but I want you to get this in your cranium for a little while. These are the feasts of the Lord, verse 4, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. And the 14th day of the first month, at evening, remember, 6 o'clock starts their day, 6 p.m. evening. 6 p.m. starts the Jewish day, not 12 midnight like we do. All right? So at the evening is the Lord's Passover on the 14th day. Now look, here's Nisan. Let's say it starts on Sunday the 1st. You come down 14 days. Now look, if that Passover did fall on a Sabbath, it was a high holy day. You got two blessings because you didn't have to do anything. If the Passover fell over here, you still went to work. It's just in the evening when you went home, you would eat the Passover. Everybody got that? Those days move. You got to remember, the days move just like our days move. Okay? You got it? But it says the 14th day of the month. It doesn't say, it says the 14th, it says right here, look. And the 14th day of the first month at evening is the Lord's Passover. All right, got it? Now what did that day, when did that day start? It started at 6 o'clock Friday afternoon. Got it? It started at 6 o'clock Friday afternoon. See, you got to look at your days a little different even on the calendar. But that Passover started 6 p.m. on Friday afternoon. Because that's the 14th day to them.
That's right.
Got it?
Right.
That's the 14th day to them. Don't worry about our day. That was the 14th day to them was 6 o'clock. That's why Jesus was killed. Actually, Passover fell on Friday. He was killed before 6 o'clock, right? They put him in the ground, which was the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The Passover lamb was killed. 6 p.m. after that, he was already dead. They put him in the ground, unleavened bread. Then he raised on first fruits. He was the first fruits up from the dead. Everybody got that? Say amen. That's according to the Bible. So now, the 14th day of the first month, verse 5, at evening is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Right here. Here we go. Right there. All right. And for 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. So for 7 straight days you'd eat unleavened bread. You still went to work and did all these things, but on that Sabbath day, you didn't do anything. All right. So now in the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. But you shall offer an offering made by fire to the Lord 7 days. And the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. All right. And the Lord spake unto Moses unto the children of Israel, saying to them, when ye come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of the harvest unto the priest. You shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. That's why they kept having to put that extra month in to back it up, so that when they planted, you got to remember too, we say, oh, that's late. I mean, that's early. Not to them. Their climate's different than ours. They could plant in January of our year, and it come up. This was the day of first fruits. Somewhere right in here, when that first crop came up, let's read it. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. All right. So if that day falls on a Sabbath, he had to wait till the next day. Because remember, you can't do anything on Sabbath. Okay. All right. And ye shall offer that day, when ye wave the sheep, an he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering to the Lord. And then it keeps going down, 2/10 deal. Now watch, verse 15. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf wave of the offering. Now look, watch. This is the Sabbath. Right? Now you got to start counting 50 days from there. So it's not exactly right here. Read right here. And you shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath. Whatever the Sabbath is on what? Saturday. Alright? On the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. 7 Sabbaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That puts it in Sivan 10 on our book. But see, I've got it. It's right there. Same thing. Same thing. Got it? So it's in the same month. All right? Got that? So there's what? Pentecost. Day of Pentecost. When the day of Pentecost is fully come, 49 days, and then you what? Watch. Even until the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall you number 50 days, and you shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. You shall bring into your offering 2 loaves of 2/10 deal. Now this is where you put leaven back in, because leaven is a type of this thing, right? Okay, so you put leaven back in. They shall be baken with leaven. Rise. What does leaven do? It makes bread rise. All right. They are the first fruits unto the Lord, and you shall offer with the bread 7 lambs, and then it keeps going down through there. All right. And it's a holy convocation. You don't need to do anything on that day. Now what happens in verse 22, verse 22 is you got starting to reap the harvest. So you got to jump now. Jump to where? Verse 24. In the 7th month, what is your 7th month on the calendar? You've got Tammuz. What did I do with it? You got Tammuz. You got Av. Elul. Hang on a minute. I'm trying to save tape. I couldn't find one of these big enough that had 12 months on it. Hey, brother Luis, hand me that tape in there on that desk, Lisa? Or just bring me a couple of pieces and put them right here. Just bring me a couple of pieces and put them right there. Yep, just do it all, wrap around behind, there you go. Okay. All right, now, that'll work, that'll suffice. So now we've come up to what? Teshri, which is the 7th month of their year. Got it?
Right.
Everybody okay? Just explaining it maybe a little bit more, it's more flat. But we're going by the Bible. This is what the Bible said. It's been in the Bible all the time. All right? Speak to the children of Israel, verse 24. In the 7th month. What is the 7th month? Teshri. October, September, somewhere in there. All right? Got it? Now remember, you said your first fruits. The first fruits was the first ones that was coming up. This is the harvest. The first fruits was the first thing coming up out of the ground. This will be, well, we'll get to it. Let's go. In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall you have a Sabbath. So you make your own Sabbath, but this one on ours, it fell on the first on Friday. You understand what I'm saying? I just wrote these in consecutive order, and that's the way that fell. But it's 30 days every month. That's why it comes off of this thing and it's off. Got it?
Right.
You should have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation. So the Feast of the Trumpets is on the first day of October, September, Teshri. It's on your thing. It's been on there the whole time. Look, Feast of Trumpets, right here on the first day of Teshri. All right. Now, you shall do no servile work, but you shall offer an offering made in the fire to the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, also on the 10th day of this 7th month, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall afflict your soul, and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And you shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement. All right? Excuse me, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among the people. All right? And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. Wow, kind of serious, huh? It shall be unto you, verse 32, a Sabbath of rest, and you shall afflict your soul. In the 9th day of the month, at evening, from even unto evening, that's evening, from evening till evening shall you celebrate your Sabbath, from evening to evening. Got it? Yeah. So on the 9th day, you got to remember, the 9th day at 6 o'clock starts the 10th day. That's what it's saying, from evening to evening. All right? To me, that part was confusing, but now if you'll just understand, their day starts at 6 p.m. When you come up to 6 p.m., they start the next day. You got to remember, they're really close to the equator too, kind of like Jamaica, and their time don't change like ours does. Their sun usually, even in Jamaica, their sun goes down at 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6:30 sometimes. Might vary a little bit, but not like ours. You know, ours is going down now at 6 o'clock. It's dark. Well, in the summertime, at 9 o'clock, it's still daylight. 3-hour swing. When you get closer to the equator, remember, the equator stays right here, but when it turns, this goes away from the sun or goes toward the sun, but your pivot point is right about the equator. So it kind of stays, so their days stay pretty much 6 o'clock. It gets dark, Brother Joe.
Do they change the time like we do over here?
I don't think that. Now, Jamaica does not. So I don't think they do either.
Some of our states don't even do it.
Do what? No, some of our states don't. Like Indiana, I think, doesn't do it.
Arizona doesn't do it.
So I think it's just left up. Really, the reason they change it is because of school. Kids getting on the bus at dark, getting home at dark, and all that stuff. If you left it the same way, that's why they call it daylight savings time. I can remember when it wasn't. Remember in the early 60s? I can remember when they didn't have daylight saving time. But the kids, you know, 2 or 3 accidents or something happened, it being dark when the kids get on the bus. See, the kids get on the bus, it gets daylight now at 6 o'clock, 6:30, right? So the kids are starting to get on the bus. Timbo knows that. But now if you left it an hour back up, then, you know, the kids are getting on at dark sometimes, or getting home at dark sometimes in the wintertime. All right, so now, I don't know how we got on that, but we did. Trumpets, Day of Atonement, we're going right by the Bible. Now, Verse 34, speaking to the children of Israel, saying the 15th day, right here, the 15th day of this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto the Lord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days unto the Lord. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation unto you. That's where Brother Branham gets that 8th day, talking about the future home, in the future home. We're talking about, you got 7s and 7s and 7s. This is on the 8th day. So there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And on the 8th day, they had a holy convocation. All right? And you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly. You shall do no servile work therein. And then, on the 15th day of the 7th month, this is what happens. They go get, verse 39, you gather the fruit of the land, keep a feast 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. No work. All right? Then they take, what they're doing is, they build these booths together. Verse 42, and you shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths. All right? You make this little booth and you sit in it. There's a reason for that. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Okay? But has everybody got it now, how this calendar is working? Better than you did with the wheel? Okay? All your feast days are on the first part of the year. The feast days here are in September, October. Harvest time. Okay? Harvest time. So, now, these three are very important, because I want you to see something, because when we get into that 70th week, remember, Jesus fulfilled all the first feast, but not the last feast. Alright? Feast of Trumpets is an awakening, a gathering. Alright? Feast of Atonement is what? Doing away with all the sin in type. Okay? No leaven, no nothing. The Day of Atonement, you afflict your soul. Now, then you've got the Feast of Tabernacles. Now, if you'll remember, Brother Brown preached the Feast of Trumpets. All 6 trumpets, or all 7 trumpets, sound under the 6th seal, which is the 2 witnesses in that 70th week preaching to Israel. So, there's your tie-in. This is going to happen during the time the 2 prophets are here. Feast of Trumpets. Now, our Feast of Trumpets is 1 Thessalonians 15:52. Trumpet of the Lord shall sound, dead in Christ shall rise, we which are alive and remain shall be caught up. Take a body change. Then God's going to tabernacle in us. So
Trump shall sound, is that Brother Branham's message?
that was a trumpet, but that wasn't the whole part, because remember, the trumpet brings everybody together. Got it? That was his message. But he's not going to physically take us out of here. His message is going to take us out of here. The sound of the trumpet is what's going to bring us together. Okay? Because he's gone on. So he's going to be part of that that's going to come up. When the trumpet shall sound, and the song goes, time shall be no longer. But this is going to be real important, because look, in that last week, the trumpets will be those 2 prophets preaching to Israel to gather the 144,000 together. There'll be a Day of Atonement. We'll read it when we get there. In Ezekiel, can't remember, or in Jeremiah and Ezekiel, it both talks about it. Remember, it says that they go into their house and they mourn. When those 2 prophets reveal Jesus Christ to them, that they already killed him back 2,000 years ago, the Bible says, they'll say, where did you get those scars? And he'll say, in the house of my friends. Right? That's not literal Jesus, that's through those 2 prophets.
Right.
They'll realize that what? They'll realize their atonement. We realize our atonement here. We're Gentiles. We realize our atonement here. They're going to realize that atonement in that 70th week. So they don't realize it. We've got to make an end to sin, reconciliation for iniquity. Can't even remember the third one. But anyway, the first 3. Got it? The first 3. The first sixfold purpose, the first 3, brings Israel and restores her back. That's the Day of Atonement. They're going to realize they killed him 2,000 years ago. And they're going to afflict their soul. That's what it says right here. And then, the tabernacle has got to be built in the millennium. God's already built our tabernacle. We don't need one. This is it. Right? But they have, Ezekiel 40 to 44, we'll read it. They have a literal temple that they're going to go to. Feast of Tabernacles. So, there's your 70th week. It has to be 7 years. They don't build a tabernacle after 1260 days. They're just realizing their Day of Atonement. Israel is realizing their Day of Atonement. After those prophets preached 1260 days, that's when the atonement's going to be. They're going to be killed. They're going to be taken up. God's going to wipe this thing off with atomic fire, and then they're going to come back and build the Millennium Temple. And we're going to come into it and be the anointing to the temple according to what the prophet of God said. So any questions real quick? Got about 2 minutes. Any questions? Nope.
Now, who's gonna build the temple?
They're going to build the temple. I believe the 144,000 will build it. And maybe the fifth seal Jew. They are the only ones that know how to build it. We're not going to build it because we
They're
don't know.
going up, 140,000.
They got to come back. Somebody got to come back to
That's
build
what
that
I
temple.
mean, that's what they're talking.
They got to
Gotta
come back.
come back, not while they're here.
No, not while they're here. They got to go up. This right here. After this atonement, they take a rapture just like we did.
Right.
All right? Then they're going to come back and build that temple according to Ezekiel 40 through 44. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your holiday. And thank you again for all the gifts. And I